Hey guys, welcome to my channel and welcome back if you're a returning subscriber. So in this video I'm going to talk about why you don't have to struggle too much in life. So if you're struggling too much about something, or if you've been trying to do something and it's been failing over and over again, I want you to surrender and ask God if that is for you, and if that path which you're taking is where He has called you to. Because the thing is that sometimes we feel like we know everything and we want to be God in our lives and we want to take control, and then we go to do things our way and it keeps on failing and failing. If something is not working in your favor, just know that maybe it is not for you, or maybe it's not aligned to the path that God has called you. So I've had two instances in my life where things were not working. Then I still persisted and I still did that thing and it failed. One of the instances was I was a victim of a get rich quick scheme. So what happened, I was in school that time, and this Spring Cash, I think it was called Spring Cash, it was trending then. So everyone was entering into this business. So a friend of mine told me, and we were too. So we went to an ATM. I think I wanted doing transfer, or I think I went to an ATM. So I consistently tried that and it failed. So now I tried and it kept on failing. So I think that was God telling me that that thing is going to crash and that is not for you. Like, that is not for you. Don't do this. But sometimes, being human, we want to go and do things our own way. Sometimes if you're trying something again and again, just hold on, pause. Serious, just hold on and pause. Maybe that's not going to come out successful. Maybe that is not for you. So now what later happened, I later went to another ATM and I tried. I kept on trying, and then finally it went through. And guess what, the next day that business crashed. And I was like, that was God telling me not to do this. So sometimes if something is not working in your favor, I'm not saying you should stop immediately. I'm saying that you should surrender and go to God and ask Him that, God, is this thing for me? One of my prayers most of the times when I want to do anything is I go and ask God that, God, if this is for me, let it succeed. But if this is not for me, let it fail. I'm not saying that you won't experience difficulties. Even if God has told you that something is not for you, you're still going to experience difficulties. But see how this thing works. If something is for you, like if something is meant for you and is aligned with the path that God has called you, you see that looking backwards, you'll be able to connect the dots. Like, even if you can't connect the dots looking forward, you'll be able to connect the dots looking backward, because sometimes our ways is not God's ways. And then when you move with faith, things might not look as it seems, but God is seeing what we cannot see. So sometimes you're looking at something and everything is looking like okay, everything is aligned, and then using your human eye to see, you're like everything is aligned, but that is not what God wants you to do. He wants you to do something different, and something that when you're even looking at it from your own perspective, you're like, this thing can never work. But that is where God comes in, because He sees what we cannot see. So now you see that sometimes when things are for you, or when something is meant for you, you don't struggle so much to get that thing. It just goes, it flows freely. There's a series I started, Seconds with Oluchi, and sometimes I'm like, God, please tell me what to say. Like, God, show me what to say. And I open the Bible and there is a passage about what God wants me to talk about. Like, it flows seamlessly. Like, there is no to struggle about. I don't struggle too much to get something. So this video is just talking about why you don't have to struggle too much for something, because if you are struggling too much with something, maybe it is not for you. The second instance is when I was trying to get an apartment. I was looking for a rented apartment and I was looking to get that place with someone, and then everything was not working out. Like, it was just a total failure. But I was so keen that I went to do that in my own way, and I kept on trying. Like, even the transfer would not go, and along the line we'll get a place and someone would be like everything was just failing. Like, I rushed into it without waiting for God's direction, and at the end of the day my money got stopped. So I'm like, sometimes we don't have to rush into things. Like, we have to take things slowly. If you struggle so much with something, just hold on, just take a break. So you're trying to make this transfer and This one happens often. You're trying to make this transfer and you're impatient and you try it again, and it's still not going through. Drop that phone, go and do something else. Because you see that even if you try that thing 100 times, it might not go through. And what will happen? You get debited again and again. So this is just an example, sure, but if you're struggling so much with something, just take a break and ask God, is this really meant for me? Another thing is that business and the line of entrepreneurship might not be for everybody. If you're someone who is into business and you're struggling so much, maybe it's not for you. Like, there are people who work for someone who does white collar jobs seamlessly, like they're perfect, like that is where they are called. So our gifts and where we are being called is different. That's why you can't be like someone else. Like, you can't be like someone else because your own story is different from someone else. So that's why you should not try to compare yourself with others, and you should not try to copy others, because what God has called you for is different, and your own line of path is different. Your own story is different from everybody else, because you're unique, and what God has called you for is different. You might want to go into something because someone else has gone into that thing. You might want to go into something because of the money it's going to give you, whereas that is not where you were called. And you see yourself struggling, maybe it's not for you. Just take a break, go back and ask God for directions, or maybe that's where you're going to realize where you're getting it all wrong. So sometimes you just have to take a break, and you'll be able to figure things out when you ask God for his directions and you ask him to lead you. So thank you very much for watching. I hope this video helps. This is a very short video, and the title of the video, what God just puts in my mind, is why you don't have to struggle so much. Because sometimes I experience this a lot. I'm struggling so much with something and I just want to do it my way. I just want it to work immediately, but that's not God's will, and that's not what he wants for me. And if you go to do it our own way, you see that in the long run you're going to fail and you're going to struggle. So just go and ask God for his directions, and don't forget to go back to your source. And who happens to be your source? God is your source. You have an amazing day. Lots of love, watching. Bye. Subscribe.